Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the Houston Texans have signed veteran tight end Irv Smith Jr. to a contract after the Texans announced that Brevin Jordan, tight end who has been on the Texans roster for 4 seasons now, in his 4th season, played 2 games of his 4th season, tore his ACL in their last game against the Bears, which is obviously very tough news for this Houston Texans team. But honestly, I feel bad for Brevin. I want Brevin to come back healthy, but am I worried about this team because of this injury? No. I think Brevin Jordan was very valuable to this Houston Texans team last year. He had that amazing catch and huge run in the wild card round against the Browns in the playoffs. In the regular season, he was pretty good. 14 games, 6 starts, 21 targets, 17 receptions, 220 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it's not a knock on Brevin Jordan because I love Brevin Jordan. But the main reason why I'm not nervous or think that this, changes how good of a football team the Houston Texans are, the main reason why is because of who the Texans drafted in last year's, in this past draft, in the draft in April. The main reason why I'm not upset about this injury, I'm upset. I'm upset for Brevin. I'm upset the Texans have lost him for the season, but the main reason I'm not concerned at all is because of who we have and who we drafted in Cade Stover. And also have an unbelievable starting tight end who C.J. Stroud has a lot of chemistry with, and Dalton Schultz. And not only do you have those 2 guys, but you just signed another tight end in Irv Smith Jr., who is a very nice veteran. I think will fit well with C.J. Stroud if God forbid, the Texans need to play him. I mean, 2023 wasn't a great year for him with Cincinnati. 12 games, 6 starts, 26 targets, 18 receptions, 115 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. 2022 with Minnesota, 8 games, 1 start, 36 targets, 25 receptions, 182 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. But it was 2 seasons in 2019 and 2020 with Minnesota. Very good seasons with Minnesota, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited that the Texans are bringing him in. 13 games, 7 starts, 43 targets, and 30 receptions in 2020 with 365 receiving yards with 5 touchdowns. Same thing in 2019, 16 games, 7 starts, 47 targets, 36 receptions, 311 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, is he capable of being a starting tight end for this team? I don't think so. But as a third-string guy for the Texans, not bad at all. And I think we've already seen some solid things from Cade already. He had a very nice 18-yard reception for the Texans in last week's game against the Chicago Bears. So I'm excited to see how he does this upcoming week. I think one of Cade Stover or Dalton Schultz is going to have a big game against the Vikings this week. Funny enough, Irv Smith Jr.'s former team. And that's one reason why I think Irv Smith Jr. could get involved. He knows this Vikings team. A little bit different since he last played for them. 2022. It's only been a couple seasons. So you could maybe possibly expect Irv Smith Jr. to get involved a little bit since it is his former team. Might know the team still. The only reason I'm saying he might know the team well just because the fact it's been a couple years, things might be different for this Vikings team. The system might be different. But I'm telling you this, I know for a fact if there are some things he knows, I'm sure that he's talking with the defense, and that he can be very helpful for the defense this week potentially, and the defensive staff. But yeah. That is why he is going to be potentially helpful for the defense this week going up against the Vikings offense. Although this Vikings offense is a little bit different quarterback and Sam Darnold, instead of Kirk Cousins, but still the main guy throwing the football to is Justin Jefferson. So that's not any different. But I think he's a good addition. Number one for the fact that he's going to help this week a little bit going up against the Vikings. But he's put up some good numbers in the last, two good seasons with the Vikings. I mean, even 2022 wasn't that bad. He almost had 200 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns in only 8 games. So I mean, he was averaging 23 receiving yards per game for the Vikings in 2022. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a solid addition, and he has a great quarterback throwing the football. But with having Cade Stover and Dalton Schultz, I don't see him getting the ball a lot, but it could be used. But what I was gonna say was that I think one of Cade Stover or Dalton Schultz are going to have a big game for this Houston Texans team this week. And it could be both of them. I think the Texans, without Joe Mixon, without Dameon Pierce, they're going to be in pass mode. I like Cam Akers. I think he's very solid. But I think the Texans are going to go back to the old strategy, which was last year, mainly pass. I'm not saying the Texans are going to, be silent and not run the ball at all, but I think it's going to be way more passing the football than it's been in the previous 2 games. But what I think is that this Vikings defense has really struggled against tight ends in the first couple weeks. They gave up almost 100 receiving yards last week to George Kittle. I think they gave up like 25 receiving yards to the tight end of the Giants, which the Titans don't really have a good tight end at all, and they have a terrible quarterback throwing the football. So early on in the season, they have struggled they've struggled against tight ends, and now they face another good tight end in Dalton Schultz and a very solid young tight end in Cade Stover. I think it's going to be and a great quarterback throwing the football to them in C.J. Stroud. So watch out for the tight ends, mainly number 87 in Cade Stover, and also number 86 in Dalton Schultz. Let me know your thoughts on the Houston Texans signing Irv Smith Jr., and also let me know your thoughts on Brevin Jordan being out for the season. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.